Hello class, Professor Mouthtop here. It is nice to be back yet again. Thank you as always a million trillion times over. That's a million times a trillion. I'm not sure what that number is, but this is not a math lesson. This is all about the Beatles. 2 songs this week. You're going to get 4 hunks of audio in your mail. We're going to hear about a John song and we're going to hear about a George song, both from 1968. The first is Across the Universe, which comes from early 1968. Now, the Beatles knew they were going to be going away to India for an extended period of time, and they wanted to have a couple of singles to come out while they were gone, or at least one single. This single ultimately would become Lady Madonna and the Inner Light. But there was a third song that was there as a contender for part of that single, and that was Across the Universe, which John first wrote. Here comes Honey Pie. John first wrote when he was annoyed with Cynthia Lennon. Apparently she was nagging him about whatever it is that she was bothered by, and he, in his head, heard the phrase words flowing endlessly, as in she was just going and going and going and going. Well, he got up because he knew he wouldn't be able to sleep, and he wrote some words down, and from this rather aggravating situation John was in, he wrote an extremely peaceful song. It includes pools of sorrow and broken light and limitless, undying love. It's a very beautiful song. In it, he also sings Jai Guru Dev Om. That's literally it means victory to God divine. This is something that John picked up through his Indian meditation interest. Guru Dev is a real life guy. He was Maharishi's spiritual leader, and that was part of John's mantra that was given to him by Maharishi. The song also has a whole bunch of senses as well as a lot of nature imagery in the song. This was an early influence of Yoko Ono, as well as the peaceful nature of the song, as well as a little bit of an interest in the ecology. Earthy and tranquil. Yoko Ono had a very, very important influence on the music of John Lennon. This was the first song that was recorded that was written by John in 1968. The last song that he had written and recorded was in August of 67, and that was I Am the Walrus. So it was a little bit of a down period for Lennon, who didn't have anything until February 3rd, the first day that they started playing and recording Across the Universe. John debuted it for the other Beatles. They immediately liked the simple song. It has kind of a complicated recording. There's some backward noises and a lot of percussions on it, and there are 2 young girls who sang on the song, Lizzie Bravo and Gayleen Pease, possibly 2 of the coolest chicks ever, because they were hanging outside of Abbey Road Studio, and when it was decided that they needed some female voices on the Beatle album, Paul McCartney went outside and invited a couple of them in to sing on the song. It's very cool that they could say that. Ultimately, the song was not released in 1968, but it did wind up on the Let It Be album. John performed it a couple of times during the Let It Be film, and when Phil Spector was getting his hands on all of the master tapes, he had wound up getting Across the Universe and finishing it up. The other song we're going to hear about this week, where you get 2 more hunks of audio, is Long, Long, Long. It's the last song on side 3 from the White Album. It was inspired by the Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands, which is a Bob Dylan song from the Blonde on Blonde album, which George just loved. And even though it sounds a little bit like a romantic song, George wrote it as a message to God. He is happy that he has found God. He was lost and found, and all love is part of a universal love. Now, George just scribbled some of the lyrics onto an ad sometime in the summer of 68, and when he was ready to record it in the studio, there was an incident because George had some digestive biscuits, that's what they call graham crackers in England, and apparently Yoko Ono, who was a guest of John Lennon, ate some of these biscuits, and George apparently got very, very angry, which wasn't exactly real spiritual of him, but when the song was recorded, John was not on the recording. He wasn't attended at the sessions. Yoko Ono probably also not there, although that is unconfirmed. It was a 16-hour session that George and Ringo and Paul worked really, really careful together to get everything just right. One of the cool things that they got on the session, on the recording, was at the very, very end. You can hear a bottle of wine vibrating on the Leslie speaker. They worked very hard to recreate this noise that would cause the bottle, which was Blue Nun, to shake on the speaker, and make a little noise. I hope you all enjoy hearing all about some real cool Beatle music. We'll be back in another week or so talking about more Beatle stuff because I'm Professor Mop Top and that's what I do.